Welcome to Bath. This is actually the first time we've met in real life.
Which is wild because we have been Insta friends for almost 3 years.
I know.
Like pretty much 3 years next week.
We're so modern.
I know.
So we both had a house account.
We did.
Mine is much more tragic than yours.
You can't say
I was
that.
definitely not as committed to the gram as you were.
But I loved Bumble Cottage.
But tell me about your house. So you started your account.
Yeah, so I moved into my house just before lockdown and I'd never lived alone before. Ooh. And I'd never had a mortgage before. And then suddenly I was kind of thrown into living alone in lockdown with loads of tester pots. And I thought...
I love that you already had them.
Yeah.
You're already prepared.
Yeah, well, as soon as the house got accepted, I just started like scouring the world for tester pots and getting as much colour as I could. And then I thought, rather than just blob them on the wall,
I'm going to see what happens.
I might do some shapes.
Love that.
Yeah, and then
I love that. So we obviously been chatting online for a few years now, but we do live quite far apart. Now we've got you down here. So in terms of what you did beforehand, what were you up to before we knew you as Rich the mural artist? What was your previous life?
Do you know what? I just had like a very normal office job. I used to work for a model agency as a booker.
Yeah.
And I did the social media and I loved it so much. But when I started the house account and then I was pulled back from furlough, it just kind of got a little bit untenable.
Yeah.
And my boss was a little bit angry at the success.
You're like, I am actually onto other things now.
And then like ultimately she made me redundant.
Yeah.
Which was very terrifying because obviously I live alone, I have a mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
But my little sister kind of sat me down and was like, something is happening, her account is growing.
Just gotta go with it.
You just gotta lean in and like this is a really great opportunity to kind of see if it works, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't.
Absolutely.
But it did.
So how long were you furloughed for? That would have been your time.
3 months exactly. Yep. And so the moment she could get me back into the office and stop painting the house, she pulled me straight back in. But that's why I did it, because I thought I'll never have 3 months at home without excuse and without reason, like to not paint.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to decorate the house as quickly as possible, thinking I'd just do it like a normal person would.
Love that.
And then as the aesthetic grew and changed, it became less normal and way more Homo.
Way more. Did you start painting it before you started taking pictures of it and then went back and did all the murals? So was anything plain at all?
So the first iteration, the first dining room was just like orange with a blue picture rail.
Oh, okay.
It was a very deep orange. It was beautiful.
No.
Yeah.
But need some more.
But when I first did it, my family were like, this is a bit wild, like Rich, like the orange and the blue. And I was like, you don't know what's coming next. Like, I
have plans for this place.
This is the tame room. But then I did, the first actual shape was a circle that I painted over the fireplace.
Yeah.
And I painted it with a teeny tiny painting by numbers brush, because it's all the only brush I had. And I kind of stepped back and I was like, this
isn't it.
This is me.
This one circle's changed my life.
This one circle is going to do stuff to me. What's really funny is my grandma came in to look at the house after I'd painted it.
Yeah.
And she walked in, she's like, oh, there's a direct quote. She said, oh, I'll give you your due. You've got good taste. That'd get on my nerves.
I would remove that. I wouldn't do it.
Very annoying.
Depends as well, because if it's a period house, I feel like people are quite opinionated with what it should look like on the inside. And what is yours? Yours is a Victorian house. Yeah. So people have like preconceived ideas of what it should look like.
This is again like this whole thing about this like elusive interior rule book. Like, no, I need to find it. I need to like hunt it down. And
we're all looking for it
and burn it to the ground, because
I've never seen one.
It doesn't exist, and everyone says that you can't do this, and you can't put blue and green together, and you can't do this, and like, but why? Your house is for you.
Exactly. I think people forget that as well when they're designing their own house. People are so concerned with like, I'm going to sell it on.
Yeah.
What will somebody want to buy in the next 5 years?
Totally.
But actually, you could just paint it white in 5 years' time.
Exactly.
If you really want to.
Yeah, like designing your house for a future person to live in it just seems insane to me.
It's completely irrelevant.
It's like wearing clothes knowing that somebody else is going to wear them in 100 years. 100 years?
They won't last that long.
Primark, no thanks.
It's not going to be around that long to last. But no, it's crazy. Like, you are designing your house for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think it's so different to what we do, whereas obviously we're designing for other people and we have to take into account so many different people's perspectives.
Of course.
It's all about what the client wants and what their members want and their staff. It's so separated from what you'd want to do at home.
Yeah.
It takes like a lot of practice to get used to separate like what I would do at home with what I have to design at work. They're so different.
Yeah.
Things that I do at work look nothing like my house.
I find that really hard as well, because obviously now I do like murals for other clients, and like I'm very much like, this is my aesthetic. You want my aesthetic.
But that's why people come to you, because they're like, that's what you do.
Yeah,
they pick you for your aesthetic.
Yeah.
So in terms of your aesthetic, so how would you describe your style?
I would describe it as, I have no idea. People often,
definitely colour there.
Yeah, people always describe it as colour blocking, but for me, that's when you're like painting one wall one colour and a different wall another
and
colour.
Zoning an area. Like, I would say colour blocking's to zone space.
Exactly. Whereas mine is more like shape led. It's more like maximalism with a focus on like graphic geometric shapes.
Yeah. So do you draw it out at all before you start? Do you like plan it? What's your process?
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing like one localized mural, I'll kind of like draw it out and try and vibe it first.
Yeah.
But in the case of like my dining room and my new guest bedroom, I kind of had a core idea and painted that, and then just allowed the shapes and colors to kind of inform me where they're going to go for the rest of it. It's very like Pocahontas, Colours of the Wind.
And the shape of the space as well.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of led by the room.
Yeah, and then you kind of like, oh, it feels like it could do with like a squiggle here, and you do the squiggle, and then you're like, oh, maybe a circle here. And it's a really nice like organic way to decorate.
It's not that structured.
Yeah, I hate
nice.
structure. Structure and rules, get them out.
How did you ever have an office job?
It was a struggle.
I've been there before. So do you follow any trends, like interior trends? Do you keep up with any of that, or do you completely try and block it out of your mind?
I think, again, it's the same thing as decorating your house for other people, for future buyers. Like trends, by their very nature, come and go, whereas I'm doing what I want to do for me, so I just try and ignore it.
I think, well, I personally, I'm not sure what everyone else would think, but I try and ignore all the trends as well, because I think we're designing spaces, like some of our clients will take a space for 20 years.
Yeah.
So they might refresh it every 10 years, but you're designing a space that can't really be in a trend, because
you want it to be
as soon
timeless.
as it's gone, it'll go.
Yeah.
And also I think they come up with the trends, so every year they'll release like, this is the interior design trend for workspace this year, and you think, we did that 5 years ago. So I'm not really sure how they gauge it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whether they're basing it off what everyone's doing, but it's so client led.
Who's setting these standards of what the trends are going to be? Just do what you want.
I have no idea. There's no one board.
We need to hunt them down and then hunt down the book. We just got like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah, we need to find this book. It might be out there somewhere, I'm not sure.
Old tomb.
If not, maybe you should write one. A new rule book.
Yeah, an anti-rule book.
An anti-rule book. Oof, Richard's anti-rule book. So in terms of so obviously your process, you're really led by the space. Is there any rules you stand by where it's like, I wouldn't do that in my spaces? Any shapes you avoid?
I avoid squares.
Yeah.
The reason that I paint in curves and arches primarily is because it's really hard to explain, but if you imagine the relationship between the shapes on the wall and the energy that flows between them, if you have a square, it has like sharp edges, so it kind of, the energy gets like caught or doesn't have like flow, whereas with curves it has like a movement, which even if it's not like physically moving, your eye is like kind of flowing around
rather than just stopping there,
exactly,
going down where the line is.
No squares.
So do you think you design murals dependent on each space itself? So if it was like your dining room, is that a different set of shapes than you'd use in your like guest bedroom, or do you just
absolutely different. I really like, especially with mural clients like across, I've done them up and down the UK now, I try to look at the surrounding area and like things that like inform like the local area, and then use that to inspire the shapes and colours of the mural.
Just abstract it out completely.
Yeah, like I painted one in this little town called Wombourne in Derby, and it's a children's play centre, and as I was driving in to view it for the first time, there's this like weird little maypole sculpture.
Love that.
And I was like, that's cute.
I'm going to use that.
Yeah, I'm going to use that. So it has like, so the mural now has like these like 3 ribbon lines like going all the way up the mural.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have to pitch your ideas very often, or do you find that, I mean, now you're just like, hi, by the way, you all know me now, so I'm coming in to do my thing. But do you find that you have to kind of pitch the ideas? Like, would you tell them that story of the mural afterwards, or do you? Is that more just for you? It
depends. Yeah, most of my clients now, I'm quite lucky that they're kind of like do whatever.
Yeah.
But there are clients where they're like, they need very specific. There was one client and like I drew out a thing, and I'm not very good at drawing. I can paint, but I can't draw. So I was like, it's kind of like this, but like this little squiggle.
But not this at all.
Yeah. And they were like, we really don't understand like what you're trying to do, but we trust that what you're going to do is going to be right.
Trust me.
Yeah. And it was.
You're the professional. So do you have anything that you go off in terms of the colours meaning anything in the space? Like, do you, obviously there's loads of colour theory about what different colours mean and how they make people feel. Yeah. I think largely it's like accepted, like red is a bit of an angry colour, for example, but I don't think people follow it as like closely anymore. People don't really think about it day to day when they're in a space. No. And unless you really know how those colours make you feel, people don't pay attention to them. No. Like, this is a really like lovely calming space and there's loads of pops of colour. Yes. But you're not sat here thinking, how does that specific colour make me feel?
Well, then with this space particularly, it's a whole vibe. And the whole vibe feels correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So your aim is really your murals to just fit the space they're in. Yeah. It doesn't really matter what colours you go for, they just have to fit.
It depends. Like I just painted a mural for a mental health school in Coventry, and I've always, there's always so much meaning into what I paint and what colours I use, but this one felt particularly important. Like these kids are like very mentally like and well, and like there's like some of them are like attempting suicide and stuff. So I was like very conscious that the shapes and the colours had to be both calming and energizing as a learning space, because some of them like they feel so overwhelmed that they don't want to go into the school space on a daily basis, and I wanted to create an environment that made them feel like they were energized and inspired to come in and learn and feel calm
and safe,
but also happy. So I really like that was a real focus, and that's where the brand Yes Colours came in, because a lot of their colours are like calming blue, calming yellow, and then like a joyful pink. So it was like
and
a
lots
really
of
nice
them
balance.
are bright, but they almost do like a more pastel version of their really bright colours.
Yeah.
You could actually pair them all together.
Oh, honestly, I've like mixed pretty much all of them together, and I confirm they all vibe.
We're going to use every colour in this mural.
Can I have them all, please?
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's touch back on your house, of course. So what's your favourite room in your house? I feel like we have to live through it.
Oh, do you know what? It used to be the dining room.
Yeah.
Because after the orange and blue, I then did like a full mural vibe. I spent 5 weeks painting it in the like January lockdown 21, I think. But I was just like, I'm alone, we're in lockdown.
With your tiny, tiny paintbrush.
By that point, I'd upgraded to a slightly bigger one.
I can order someone online.
Yeah, I can go for a bigger one now. And I in my head, it was supposed to be minimal, and I went into it
I would not describe it as minimal.
Well, sometimes I describe myself as a mini maximalism.
Yeah.
Like, because I try to like focus, I try to be chic and considered, but also it's very maximalist.
Yeah, and I think with maximalism, obviously you've got every colour, every shade, and they're really like bold, like every piece is bold and stands out. Yeah. There's not as much synergy as if you were going to be a mini maximalist.
Exactly. So I was like, I tried to be very minimal, and then I was painting for 5 weeks, and then I kind of stepped back as it was like nearing the end, and I was like, oh, this is not minimal at all.
So now what I need to do is go the whole hog and redo my table, my chairs.
Well, you've got to lean into these things.
And because you then completely did the whole dining space as well. Like you didn't just leave it at the mural. You went for...
everything.
Everything.
Yeah, and do you know what's really wild as well?
DIY project.
I bought this sideboard before I moved in that was like completely black. And then once I'd done the dining room, I painted it bright blue. Yeah. And then did like all these different colours on it. And on the drawers, there was like a relief on the middle drawer of 2 H's, and I bought it before House Homo was even a thing. It's so weird, isn't it?
It came to you.
Yeah.
It found me. I didn't need to find it.
It found me, and it broke my mum's car in the process.
Oh no.
Yeah, just chipped a few things off.
But you got it home, so
it
that's the
still
important
drives.
thing. So what is your favourite room now? If it was the dining room.
Yeah, it was the dining room, and now since I've redone the guest room, the guest room is now my like my space. I
happy space.
have coffee in there every morning, and like it's
Love
nice
that.
because it's like it feels like a living room. It has a pull-out sofa bed.
Yeah.
So I like just sit up there, have like coffee and breakfast up there, and you can like see all the trees and stuff. And can't hear the doorbell going.
Sorry, can't come.
It's just my private space.
What does your room look like?
My room.
I feel like that one might be hiding from the ground.
No, it's on the ground.
It is.
Yeah, but it's actually kind of like a plot twist because it's
Oof.
dark green floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
It's very dark. It's very calming, and it's a really nice like change of pace from the rest of the house, because the rest of the house is very like energetic and vibrant, whereas this is very
Get your energy back, really.
Yeah, like moody, calm, sultry,
mysterious,
as bedrooms should be.
But not the guest bedroom.
Not the guest bedroom. No, they can stay awake.
I love that. So has your process from obviously when you started your account to now, has anything changed your perception of colour in a space? Like, has your thoughts and feelings changed towards colour, or are you just now getting to express everything you want
it's
to?
Definitely changed, because like before I moved into my house, I'd never really painted before.
Yeah.
So like everything is new. So I'm learning so quickly. And when I painted my bathroom, and it has a bright yellow ceiling. Yeah. And I kind of just did that like on a whim, like, oh, a yellow ceiling would be nice. Yeah. And then as I walked out of my bedroom one morning, the sun like was hitting the ceiling and like just bounding this like golden yellow light all the way through the upstairs hallway. And I was like, right, this is the thing. Like that's when I first realized that color has like color theory has
does have some grounds.
Yeah, it's valid.
It's not just something that somebody made up.
Yeah, totally. Although nobody can really agree on what it means.
No. And I still think it's quite perceptive. Like
totally.
Each person is going to prefer something completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what's hard about our job, trying to make sure that every client is happy with the end product when there's so many different people and so many different feelings towards colours. Some people just hate certain colours just because.
Do you hate any colour?
Do I hate any colour? I was that classic groovy chick lilac bedroom child. So I feel like I try and steer clear now. I know I've made some shocking home decisions. No one needs to know what all my rooms used to look like. I probably wouldn't be allowed to be a designer anymore. I think it's funny, isn't it, when you look back? Even when I was about 15, my parents said, you can redesign your bedroom. I thought, this is my time to shine. And they let me choose anything. And I had a whole mural of the Seychelles, a photo. It was horrific, across my whole wall.
I need to see this.
But I'm a messy person, so it looked like a tsunami all the time. And I never realised how stressful I found my whole room. Like it was almost the opposite of your room. I used to come home and sit in it and think, this is really cool. But actually it was just so stressful because there was too much going on.
Yeah, right.
In my tsunami. And then now I look back, which is hilarious, because now my room is really quite plain. It's all about the accessories. I like finishes and textures and patterns, but it's quite minimal. And I think because of what we do with work, like we come home from work and we're around so many different clients and colours and shapes and patterns. When I come home, a bit like you, I just want
a little calm.
Sit in my room, have a little calm moment.
Do you sit in your room and relax?
Oh, love my room.
Oh, nice. Love that.
Love my room. I'm blessed with ceilings like these, so.
Oh, stunning.
It's a nice space.
When can we go?
Yeah, when can we go? After this.
Let's go.
But yeah, so I'm probably going to steer clear of lilac for the rest of my life.
Oh, but I love lilac.
I think it can be used.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a beautiful colour. It's really, there's so much energy in it.
I think is it colour of the year this year?
By who?
Pantone?
No, Pantone is magenta.
It's magenta this
which
year.
is why I'm wearing this.
Oh, because see, look, you are on trend.
Got to represent a trend in me, not on Wolf.
I'm just here to represent.
I just am the moment.
No, but apart from that, that's probably it. Do you hate any colour, or do you just love them all?
I hate grey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It just feels like a non-event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a space filler.
Yeah.
A lot of our clients hate grey.
Yeah.
And I think for a while it was really challenging because, especially in the office market, every carpet was grey.
Of course.
You didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
The pattern could be amazing and beautiful. It could look like water, but everything was grey. And I think when it's carpet tiles as well, people just look at it and think corporate.
I feel like it's not inspiring.
No.
You can't look at a grey wall and be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to...
It's a beautiful grey wall.
I'm just going to run home and paint a mural right now.
Everything's going to be grey and white. No, you absolutely cannot. So I think something that would be fun to touch on is interior design masters. Go tell us a bit about your experience.
Oh no, season 3. I forgot what season I was on.
So what made you want to apply?
Well, this is some inside info. I didn't
scoop.
I didn't actually apply.
Oh.
They
found me.
They approached me. So they just like reached out on DMs one day and they were like, "Hi, we think you'd be perfect for the show."
You're like, I think this is fake blog.
Yeah, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yeah, we really like." And the weird thing is, my gut was like, "You're not right for the show."
Yeah.
But my friends are like, "This is such a good opportunity." Like,
definitely a good opportunity.
They've asked you to be on the show. You have to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad I did it, but I wasn't right for the show.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
I think it's like it gave you a platform
Totally.
of just people that just were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's really nice. So we are like a dysfunctional family, but we are a family, the 10 of us from
Have you all kept in contact as well?
Almost everyone.
Almost like Bake Off.
Almost, yeah. But most of us, like, we still hang out and we like go out for drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And we are like nobody can ever take away the journey that we went on together.
It's a shared experience.
Exactly.
And you'll have it forever.
And it was so stressful. Oh
was
my
it?
gosh. I've never been more sweaty in my life.
Have you? What was your favourite challenge?
Well, I only did one.
Yeah.
Because they booted me off.
Booted you off.
But it was just really nice, like, to be surrounded by other people who love and care about design that much. Like,
yeah.
Even though all of our aesthetics are so different, you have such a common ground in like a love of our design space.
Yeah. I think it's such an interesting program because it's so different from what we do. I think like commercial interiors, it's such a different process because it's not just driven by like one client and one person's home or one person's vision. It's driven by a business's perception of what they think they need. And obviously, much as I would absolutely love to sit, and sometimes I think, oh, I could make that myself. I definitely can't sit and do that. There's none of that in the commercial side of it. It's so different. It's all programmed and planned, and everything's like drawn out and given to people who really, really know what they're doing and building because it's for commercial use. It's such a different side of it to watch that kind of program.
Yeah. Everything's DIY.
Everything's DIY.
Everything's spray painted, hot glued.
It's like, guys, it looks really good on TV.
Don't touch it.
So was there anything that came out of that apart from your little dysfunctional family? Was there anything that came out of the show that you thought, oh, someone's seen me on here and now I've got this opportunity? Like, has it given you...
I'm not sure in terms of work it really has, but it has... I do get spotted in the street now.
So famous.
Which is quite fun.
I mean, you dress so individually. I'm not surprised.
I'm so under the radar. Like, just want to hide away a little wallflower.
I bet there's not a black piece of clothing in your wardrobe.
Do you know what? There used to be. I used to wear all black, but now I've started wearing more colour in the last like few years.
Yeah.
And again, this like the effect on my mood is amazing.
Yeah.
So like I only wear colour now.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like wearing your personality.
Yeah, I've actually recently found a man.
Oh,
but he only wears like grey and blue.
You're like, I'm going to change this.
Well, he's already decided that he wants to paint his bedroom green.
Love
so,
that.
I'm working on him. But
Matching bedrooms.
He told this guy, one of his friends, about us, and he was like, the flamboyant guy with the colourful house. And he was like, yeah, why? And he was like, your house is grey. Yeah. How's that going to work?
We're going to change it.
Yeah, we're going to paint it all.
There's a project.
That's exactly how
it's a full project.
Yeah.
It's down to the wardrobe.
Exactly. Murals begin.
I love that. It is interesting because we work with loads of different mural artists and everybody that we work with dresses like their murals. So
yeah,
we've worked with, we had an artist come to one of our London sites called Molly Mural in Bristol.
Love her.
Really fun.
Love her.
Looks like one of her murals,
yeah,
which is amazing. And she's just started like printing her own murals onto her clothing. So now she's literally dressing in her murals as well.
I didn't know
She
that.
turns up on site. You're like, right, there she is.
She's amazing. I love her work.
Yeah, beautiful.
She's so cool.
I love that. Are you looking forward? We're going to work together soon.
We are going to work together.
In real life.
I can't wait.
In Brighton.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun.
I love Brighton.
It is. Oh, so do I. Love it. It's going to be a really fun project.
Yeah, it is.
It's also massive, the mural you've got there.
How big?
It's really big. Rich is like, what did I quote
Remind
for?
me. Yeah.
I think we've got about, it's like 9 meters long. And then there's
stunning.
another one that's like 3 or 4, but the ceilings are quite high. They're probably not that far off in here.
That's
it's going to be
cool.
really fun.
I can't wait.
So that'll probably be a bit of a different one where we've got a bit more of a set brief in terms of the colours we can use.
Yeah.
I think the way, obviously, we work is everything else is signed off, the flooring's signed off, the T points are signed off, part of the design. So we've got a concept, and then it'll just be with you to go to the space, see how you feel about it, and then just go wild.
It's like, that's my favourite thing, is like walking into the space for the first time, because I can draw a million things out, but as soon as I'm in the space, it's like, oh, that's where it's going.
Yeah, you can actually see it.
Yeah.
Would you get to site, do you think, and then take a load of pictures and draw straight on top of them, or would you rather sit in the space for a while? What's your process?
Yeah, I think walk in, like, just, you can do it from photos, but you do get a different vibe when you're actually in the space. And especially, like, Brighton is such an inspiring place. I want to just sit in Brighton and just let it all flow all over me.
There are so many different murals as well, all around.
Yeah.
If you're like walking around the city.
Exactly.
But I think the reason that we went for your work is almost juxtaposed that. So we've got, it's completely different, where we've got a lot of grungy graffiti vibes, and I think this building is not like that at all, and the client's not like that at all. So they wanted something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think your work just completely fits the kind of overall vision that they're going for. See, look, again, we came to you. Didn't even need to do a call out. We're looking for mural artists.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really fun.
I can't wait.
So what other projects are you up to at the moment?
Do you know what? So I currently have been asked to, I've just finalised a design for Soho House.
Oh, exciting.
I'm part of the Birmingham committee.
Yep.
Which is very exciting. And I've designed a photo booth wrap and postcard for a dinner that's next week.
Love that.
Annoyingly, I'm double booked, and I'm doing a talk on the same
busy.
night. I'm just so busy. But I've asked the talk if I can go first in the evening. So I'm going to finish the talk in Manchester, jump straight on the train home.
And just get there.
So I can get there.
Yeah.
Get my postcard.
Put it all up and down the country.
Oh, she's busy. And then I'm doing a mural next week for a big brand. I'm using their new paint range that they're bringing out. And that's top secret.
Top secret.
So yeah,
by the time this comes out, we'll know what it is.
Yeah, there's lots of like fun things, which is what I love most about my job, because every day's different. Yesterday I was hosting an awards ceremony.
How was your awards?
Really good. Although I had to like restrain myself on the wine. Do you want to know the wine?
So it's the worst part of awards.
I've got to read out awards.
You can keep going.
Don't give me more.
They just keep filling you up as well. To the table. So what is the project that you're most looking forward to in the next year or so? How far in advance have you got things booked, or do you find things just come to you as and when now?
Yeah, totally. It goes like in such like weird ebbs and flows. Like in January, like nothing came in for like 2 weeks, and I was like, it's over. It's done.
My time has passed.
It's done. I'll have to get a normal office job again. But then it's just kind of like ramped up by February. So yeah, it's the latest one is actually yours, because we're doing May, right?
Sometime in May.
Yeah, but yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, exciting.
So you find it quite relaxed now. You just kind of wait for stuff to come to you.
Yeah.
Is there ever things that you see and you're like, I'm going to apply to do that or get in contact with these people?
There was one that, so I'm from Coventry originally,
yeah.
and Coventry City Council did a call out for artists to paint the ring road, and which is a hideous part of Coventry's architecture, if you know it. It's horrible.
Maybe I'm lucky enough to not.
Yeah, you are lucky enough to not. So loads of people from Coventry were like, Rich, this is the moment. And I was like, I really kind of manifested it, but they went in a different direction, and that's their
Well, thank
mistake.
God. Otherwise we might not have had you
exactly
ready to do ours.
Yeah.
Love that. So what are you working on right now?
Right now, the project for next week for the brand, we've just had the paint colours through, so I'm just working on the designs for that. And I've kind of taken a relaxed couple of weeks because my grandma sadly passed away last week. But so the focus is her funeral. Yeah. But she is an icon, and she would slap me if I told her I was taking a week off.
Stop being lazy.
Stop being so lazy. Get
Stop
back
using
to
me as an
work.
excuse.
Yeah, like I won't accept this. So yeah, back to the wheel.
Love that. So I was going to ask you, where do you do all of your work? Do you have a studio? Do you work from home in your guest room? Where's your main base?
Yeah, I work from home pretty much exclusively, and I love it. I think my neighbours get quite confused because I'm at home all the time.
All the time. So suspicious.
Yeah, and then I'm like, just through the walls they hear like, hi, I'm House Homo. Blah, blah, blah.
All of your videos.
What's going on? What is happening?
Do they all know? Do they love it?
Well, do you know what? I have one neighbour on one side, but nobody lives there. It's just an empty house.
That must kill you.
Yeah,
paint inside.
It's actually really sad. When I moved in, there was a gay couple that lived there. Yeah. And then they moved out like day 2 of lockdown. Yeah. But they left their dog.
In the house?
Yeah, and then they were coming. Then randomly, this old woman started coming by every day to like feed and walk the dog, but then would leave it. So I just had like a dog neighbor.
I'd have broken it.
And I was like,
I've broken it and taken the dog.
One day I was like, I'm gonna ask and be like, can I please take your dog?
Yeah.
And like, because I'm alone, you're alone, like we can like
We
vibe
can be
it
alone together.
But then she let it out into the garden, and I was like, I could see it from my back window, and it was this beast of a
You were
dog.
like,
And I
I'm
was like,
so glad I never offered.
I'm not gonna ask now.
I'm glad I didn't even offer to walk
He's
it now.
too big. But then he has now moved on to a different place.
So have you seen anyone else's houses? Are they... Have you been into anyone else's on your street?
And then there's
lockdown for 2.5 years.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a new couple on my other side, and they are so nice. They've just moved in, and they're really like my pipe burst while I was away in Mexico in December, and they hopped over the fence to fix it. So,
you're so busy
love them. I'm just so busy, traveling.
I love that. You're just different on the street. So where can people go to find out more about you? You
can head straight to Instagram and type in House Homo.
Love that.
Little plug. And that's it. That's where you can find me.
That's who you are?
Yeah.
Well, it's been lovely to chat.
It's been so lovely. It's been so nice to meet you in person.
In person. We're alive.
Can we cuddle now?
Yeah. We're done.
Cuddle! Yay!